January 2025 sucked. But guess what? January traditionally sucks. I want to provide some consolation, but also provide some insight on what you may be able to do next year, January 2026. We're going to talk about that on this segment of the Gig Geezer. If this is your first time checking out the Gig Geezer, if you're a returning visitor of the Gig Geezer, hey, thanks for coming by. And if you would not mind, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. Before we get into the teaser piece about the month of January, I do want to invite you to join the damn conversation tonight, January 29th, 2025, at 9 o'clock Eastern. My invited guest will be Nova Hustles, formerly known as Nova Dasher. Nova Hustles is based out of Northern Virginia. He works the gig economy apps, primarily gig food delivery. He does some rideshare and he does some last mile gig delivery work. He has evolved in the gig economy to where he has given himself multiple options to try to still be an active earning participant in the gig economy. So I invite you again, 9 o'clock Eastern tonight, January 29th, 2025, here on I'm Speaking. And again, I'll be speaking with Nova Hustles. Now, the month of January, what I'm finding is no surprise. We, often we traditionally we talk about January being a slow month because it is right after the holidays, obviously, and so folk have depleted their funds and they're kind of looking forward to the first day in which they can file their taxes, and so that they can have that replenishment of temporary funds or that temporary replenishment of funds with their tax return. I guess that's a nice way of saying things. Um, but I I have been through multiple Januaries now. I've been active in the gig economy since September 2016. Obviously, then I've seen the number of Januaries. But in recent years, I've been also in the I've been in the delivery and transport space, particularly primarily with the ownership and operation of my Sprinter/cargo van. And so was last year, well, actually 2023 was a lesson learned for me and something that I try to um, avoid, or at least the impact of a slow month like a January, and for me also December 2024, in which I worked to put things in place to um, offset what I anticipated be were slow parts of my business operations. But now I said that also, what many of us have experienced, many of you have experienced, is nothing new under the sun. And so what I'm going to do is go back to some past Gig Geezer uploads in which I talked about the month of January. This first one is back in 2022 when drivers had experienced a noted slowdown starting in January 2022 again. And it was kind of, I guess, for some stunning given the era that us drivers had been a part of, which was that golden era during the shutdowns. So here I am. I'm sharing how I had a very good day for the most part the day before, but then all of a sudden it was as if the wheels had fallen off the next day. And I explained it in this particular segment.
First half hustle at the borderline of saving face, making it close, and it's that's just the new reality right now with the gig hustle. And what's ironic is that what's ironic is that yesterday's evening hustle, I did 160 in 4 hours, and ended the entire Sunday hustle at $251 and change. And you expect a little drop off after having a big hustle, but I didn't expect things to drop off like that. But that's the new reality as things have slowed down as they have. I'm not even going to try to talk optimism right now, even once people start getting their tax returns, because I think people's buying habits have changed. They've gone back to probably the way they were in 2019, but because so many of us have been spoiled and gotten used to the way things were for 2020 and 2021, we've forgotten what it was a lot like before then.
So again, that was my first observation in which I saw what I anticipated were buying habits uh, changing, going back to what they were prior to the shutdowns. So now, for the sake of the conversation, I'm talking 2022. So now I'm thinking that I need to do something to withstand what could be slow periods next year, January 2023. And for that matter, maybe, well, well, so now the goal for me now, the goal for me was to put myself in a position to where I could withstand what could be a slow January 2023. And so as we go further into 2022, this is where it just so happened I started thinking about the purchase of a Sprinter slash cargo van. And when I did complete that transaction, one of the things I talked about was giving myself a greater earnings capacity. And so another thing that I mentioned was that in my analysis, I felt as if the gig food delivery space had begun to stagnate. And I noted for myself, I noticed how my earnings over the previous years, particularly 2021 and 2000, and what I was seeing in 2022, were going to be no different than really 2020. Not a great difference in those years, which was, as I mentioned, the golden era. And so, what I want to show you now is an example. What I want to show you is how I dealt with then January 2023 in this particular segment of Gig Geezer. And this is actually like first week of February 2023. $5,545 in 26 days last month. And that came out to an average of just over $213 a day. In that best month of December 2020, I put in 27 days, if memory serves me correct, and I averaged over $227 a day. So it's not a big drop off. Altogether, when I look at the last 5 Januaries, so that means going back to 2019, in order, I made $3,860 in 2019. I worked every day that month in 2019, and I averaged $124.52 a day. In 2020, I made $4,351.50. All of it was on gig delivery work, and I put in 30 days and averaged $145 a day. 2021, I made $6,534, of which $5,580 was through gig food delivery work, and averaged $206 a day. In 2022, okay, I got my numbers wrong. Now, in 2022, last year, I made $6,420.72, of which $6,264 was made through gig delivery work, and I put in 27 and a half days. And I averaged just a tick under $228 last year. And so this past month, again, I made $71.15.71, of which $55.45.71 was in gig delivery work or gig app work. And I put in 26 days, as I said, and I averaged $213.21. Now, does that sound like that I was really struggling? No. In fact, in a previous Gig Geezer segment, I said that if my numbers are down, all right. So now, I stopped here just to give you kind of a setup how I had analyzed the previous 5 years and all. But as I move forward in this particular segment, I'm going to show you then about the $500 earnings day, which is my first in my ownership and operation experience, Sprinter slash cargo van. In fact, what I'm going to pick up on is where it's in the evening and it's with a catering opportunity. But as you can tell, I'd been dealing with this question in the past, and I've been trying to do things to, I guess you'd say, set myself up so that January would not have as big of an impact.
If I were to just migrate all the way back to Columbia, at least through Rock Hill, second half of the day, this is my second half hustle, my second half grind. And this is going to be the bigger one. And hopefully I may make additional monies this evening. I thought that while I was migrating back through Charlotte and the Rock Hill area, that I might catch something else, but I didn't. Nothing really tickled my fancy, so to speak, to where I was willing to accept an order. The closest I came was in Charlotte when I stopped at a Jack in the Box. In fact, it's where I always stop before I head on out. There was a restaurant across the street. The order was for $13. The order was for $13, but the miles on it was 12 miles, and it was going back into uptown Charlotte. And I didn't feel like driving back towards the downtown area. I wanted to kind of stay where I was or head back towards Columbia. And so I passed on a $13 opportunity. I don't feel any shame about it. This particular order that I'm about to start on, it is almost a $1,300 delivered order. That's right, delivered. This is this one is all right. The base amount is $50 and the tip amount is $190 plus. So this order is going to pay over $240. That's right. So that's going to bring my daily total just on these two opportunities that I have done so far today to $420 plus. And so if I stay out, I'm thinking about trying to go for 5 bills today. And so,
all right, now I did stay out and I reached 5 bills. The actual number was like $503.44. So now the fact that I reached that day, I felt that in part I would not have been able to do it had I not had the spinner/cargo van. I began that particular day doing a last mile gig delivery opportunity that required me delivering a pallet up to North Carolina. Now, so we move ahead to 2024. Now, in 2024, we move ahead to January 2024. I'm coming off of December 2023, in which I had 3 brokered opportunities. Kind of caught me by surprise because I had such a busy stretch of brokered opportunities, brokered load board / expediting opportunities. And what I mean by that is in November 2023, for example, I had earned $4,865 in brokered opportunities. In October 2023, which is my best month doing brokered opportunities, I had earned $6,750. I believe it involved a couple of trips to Texas that month as well. But then I go from there to $950, all of 2 or 3 brokered opportunities. I'm like, I've got to do something about that. I've got to cushion that blow if that's going to be a reality in the future. Now, in January 2024, I had 6 brokered opportunities, and earned $2,660. So that kind of got things back in track. But I was thinking ahead, and so this is a case where I'm not giving you the answers to the test, but I'm explaining like an instructor in concept. I began looking ahead, looking to do things that would put me in a position to where I would be able to offset dips in facets of my delivery and transport operations. And so this video that I'm talking about in January 2024 explains the drop off that I had experienced from the previous 6 months.
$5 rounded up. That was about almost $1,700. What I earned in January last month was about $1,700 less than the previous trend. But when I compare it to my overall earnings average for 2023, it's about $100 less. So it's really how you look at the numbers. I can talk about this being, oh, woe is me and all, or I get to say, hey, look, I had an off month. At least based on recent trends, I had an off month. But then again, if I compare it to January 2023, which is my first full month with ownership and operation of this van, I actually did way better. Last year, I don't like making comparisons to certain times of a year and all, but for whatever it's worth, for this particular conversation, last year it was $7,109 that I earned total in January 2023. This year, $92.59.67. So that's a $2,100 difference, or about a 33%, at least a one. That is almost a 1/3 difference, 33% difference from last year. What it may suggest, though, is that I have more earnings options, but yet the earning options that I had did not produce the same numbers.
All right. Now, one of the things I talked a lot about during 2024 was about earnings options, giving myself options, creating myself options. And so that is a result of when you are planning ahead. You know, many of us talk about being in business for ourselves. We talk about being our own boss. We talk about running a business, and some of the basic management principles with running a business is the constant assessment and reassessment of things. And so I mentioned, at least during 2024, that I was trying to put things in place. And fortunately for me, the things that I've worked to put in place did accomplish many of the goals that I'd hoped to accomplish in December 2024 and January 2025. Now, I've not talked about how much I earned in December 2024. I've not talked about how much I've earned in January 2025. The fact of the matter is that while I know that January has sucked, it has sucked because I've had some struggles within the month, but what I've been able to put in place and have seen executed have softened some of the blows that many people are really hurting from so far this month, so far this year. I hope you understand where I'm going with this. This is not about me sitting on a soapbox pontificating about, oh yeah, I'm killing it and all. No. I'm out here brawling whenever I come out. I'm out here brawling just like the next person. I'm trying to earn as much as I can when I'm out here. But part of doing that is putting yourself in a position. They talk about preparation meets opportunity, and so if you're diligent at preparing yourself, when the opportunity does present itself, you'll be able to step right in. So again, for me, it's been the cash game, other 1099 opportunities. Next year, it could be something else though, but I am working throughout to further expand the cash game opportunity because but some people ask, well, what is the cash game? I've explained that before. Cash game is those are opportunities that are earned through direct contact with someone, typically by cash. It's that simple. It's what you earn by cash. It could be from a delivery and transport standpoint. It could be direct. It could be direct opportunities with a direct customer. But that would be your other 1099 work. And then again, there are opportunities that you may get through cash. Now, I hope I'm not telling on myself. I hope I'm not setting somebody up for trouble from a tax standpoint, though. But again, it's not always the gig apps. It's not always the brokered load board expediting opportunities. And it's what you do. It's the other things that you do that help builds up your business operation. CJ talks about it all the time with his direct bookings. I don't hear other drivers talking in these terms though, but he is thinking like a business person. He's thinking like an entrepreneur. He is thinking like a true proprietor. And Again, at least he's not giving you all the answers to the test, but he is explaining his concept. Yeah, I know that word concept though, but it is really concept more than anything else. What you do is going to be unique to you, but it can help you withstand months like January. Of course, yes, the other principle involved when you have months like this is being able to put money back. But you may have a couple of months in which you've depleted your funds, so you've got to get out there. But when you're out there, it could be what you have in place that makes the difference, that helps you replenish what you've depleted much sooner than later. So I've talked enough about this. Hopefully you got something out of it. While I'm at it, I invite you to join the Jam conversation tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern. It's for, if somebody's looking at this down the road, it was January 29th, 2025, in which I'm speaking. I'll be speaking with Nova Hustles. He's from Northern Virginia. He's active in the gig economy. He's also a content creator. And as I always say, it's going to be a fast hour, and I hope that you're joining the damn conversation. Well, also, if you like the content that's been provided in this segment of the Gig Geezer or in any other segment of Gig Geezer, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. I'm in Wood Lane. As always, may your grind and may your hustle continue.